A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. I used to read Star Wars books. Yeah, and I even enjoyed them, guys. They were a big part of my reading life. And this was all until the new trilogy. So Disney came in, they made these three movies, but what they did also in turn was just they decanonized all the extended universe tales that kind of conflict with this new storyline. So now what you have is just these massive series runs just demolished. They're nothing. They're fairy tales in an already fictional world. Yeah, I bet you can already tell the tension is rising. But before I get too far into it, guys, I want to say, yes, this video is definitely going to be somewhat of a Star Wars rant, maybe even a little bit of a Disney rant. But I don't want to say, I don't hate Disney, and I don't hate Star Wars. I love them both. I'm just very disappointed. Yeah, you know how that goes. So anyway, let's get into it. The new Jedi Order series came out in the early 2000s. Now, this was a really fun time to be a Star Wars fan, considering you had the prequels coming out that were really shaping the past, and now the new Jedi Order series that was trailblazing the future. Yeah, just a lot of fun, guys. So the new Jedi Order series was essentially about an alien invasion, not just like a regular alien. This was an extra galactic alien race that was like a warrior race that hated machines and technology. And because they were extra galactic, the Force did not work on them like it would from normal people in this universe. So it was very tricky for the Jedi to have to navigate this new enemy, and it was exciting because this was something very different from the Empire. Now, before I get too far into it, I do want to give out the spoiler warning. This is a Let's Talk video, not a spoiler-free review. So if you are interested in the new Jedi Order series, you don't want anything spoiled, now's your chance to back out. I will, however, put a link in the description if you're interested in this series and you don't want nothing spoiled, but you are interested in going into it. I'll put a link to Mike from Mike's Book Reviews, because he did a Why You Should Read the New Jedi Order series, an amazing video. And for those that don't want anything spoiled, that's the one that you should be watching. Now, for you that have already read it, or those that don't give a shit about spoilers and just want to see me pull my hair out, well, let's get it on. The new Jedi Order series was essentially a passing of the torch. All the Jedi Knights that worked under Luke in the new Republic era are now becoming masters, and we're getting a whole new slew of Jedi. The series definitely focuses mainly on the Solo kids. Now, I know what you're thinking. Solo kids? Yeah, that's right, kids. This series gave us the Solo kids versus that Solo kid. But anyway, these kids were really young, but they were just becoming Jedi Knights, and they were really forced into this war, which really made them grow up at a rapid pace, and it was a lot of fun to watch. The series wasted absolutely no time showing us that it wasn't just going to be another pulp science fiction series filled with adventures and smiles. No. In fact, R.A. Salvatore kicked the thing off with the first book being Vector Prime. Now, this is also one of the most heartbreaking books because, like I said, they wasted no time. And in this book, we lose one of our most, near and dear friends, somebody that has been well loved amongst the Star Wars community, really just by everybody. We lose this guy, and it's just sucks. You're just like, Chewie! Like I said, the books waste no time showing us how dark this series is about to get, and it just continues from there. Basically, what this whole series is about is this invasion. So the Yuuzhan Vong are pushing forward towards Coruscant through the whole series, and yet our heroes might find some measure of victory in each novel, but realistically, they're losing this war at a rapid rate, and the Yuuzhan Vong's foothold in this war is just growing stronger and stronger, damn near by every page you read. And just when you thought your heart couldn't break anymore, that's right, Anakin Solo. Poor Anakin. Anakin Solo was an extremely young Jedi Knight. I think he might have been the youngest Jedi Knight. He's the younger brother of Jason and Jaina Solo, and he is probably one of the, he is a Jedi that is filled to the brim with potential. It is insane. Anakin's older brother Jason sometimes even looks up to Anakin. That's how impressive of a kid. This kid had an amazingly bright future ahead of him. But then, because of certain instances in this war, in a situation he gets put into, he essentially just sacrifices himself to protect others. He pulls off that Jedi martyrdom to a T. It's really, it's amazing, but it is so heartbreaking. It's a tough pill to swallow at this point in the series. Shortly after this, though, it doesn't get any better. Jason Solo is captured, or is really betrayed, tricked, and he becomes a prisoner of the Yuuzhan Vong, but everybody thinks he's just dead. As well as Coruscant, the one city that the New Republic has basically been fighting tooth and nail to protect, has fallen into the hands of the Yuuzhan Vong. And now, Jason Solo is aboard the ship. He's being held prisoner, but the ship that he's aboard is what's known as a siege ship, and it's on its way to Coruscant, because what the Yuuzhan Vong are about to do is to Vong form Coruscant into their homeworld of Yuuzhan'tar. Now, this is actually a super freaky concept because, yes, the Yuuzhan Vong have been Vong-forming planets on their way, amongst the series. But usually they're turning them into kind of like scrapyards for material and whatnot. Now, by Vong-forming Coruscant into Yuuzhan'tar, they're basically saying, we're here to stay. Which brings me to Cha-Ching, Traitor by Matthew Stover. So not all of these novels were written by one author, guys. There was 19 books, and they were being pumped out once a month, I believe. So a lot of different authors all got their chance to write a book. And Matthew Stover wrote Traitor. Now, Matthew Stover is kind of also known to be a bit of a grimdark writer, and this book is definitely one of the darkest ones in the series. Also one of my favorites. So Traitor is definitely a different book compared to the rest. It's very confined. The majority of the book takes place on a Yuuzhan Vong siege ship. This is the same ship that Jason Solo is on. He's being tortured, and you could also say he's being taught. The strange alien Vergeer is basically trying to teach Jason Solo these very, very hard lessons, but these lessons, once learned, are going to change Jason Solo for the rest of his life. And it's kind of interesting because this is really where we are getting to see dark side seeds being planted in our young Jason Solo. Eventually, we make way towards another Jedi, and that is Ganner Rhysode. And this is a Jedi I really want to talk about, guys, because he's one of the coolest Jedis I've ever read about, and nobody even knows who this guy is. So really quick, let's just give a little brief history on Ganner Rhysode. Ganner Rhysode was a young Jedi Knight. Now, he was definitely amongst the more arrogant ones. You could even outright say that Ganner Rhysode was a bully. When we really meet him. I mean, he's basically picking on Corran Horn's child. He's just a dick, and he's very pompous. He's arrogant, like I said. He just basically thinks he's better than most. He really tries to go out of his way to portray this badass, kind of personality. When the Yuuzhan Vong invaded and the Jedi had to kind of act, this is when Ganner Rhysode and Corran Horn get sent on a mission, and this is Ganner's first encounter with Yuuzhan Vong. And being the arrogant Jedi that he is, it doesn't really work out so well for him, and he comes out of the battle alive but scarred. But this is an interesting turn of events for our character Ganner Rhysode, because this is where we see him kind of eat some humble pie. Ganner's scar on his face could have easily been fixed with the medical technology of the time, but he chooses not to. He chooses to let it just become this giant scar so he can have a memory, basically, of, what not to do next time. he starts to become this better Jedi, really, overall, just because he does see the error of his ways. Now, this doesn't make him instantly like a better guy. Ganner still struggles. He definitely, he sides with Kip Duron and definitely is more in the camp of the aggressive approach towards the Yuuzhan Vong. He's just, he's still trying to play that hero character, but he's definitely being more humble. He has one of the most amazing character arcs of Jedi Knights that I've read personally. So when the story starts here in Traitor, or not when it starts, but about, over halfway through, we come to Ganner Rhysode, and Ganner Rhysode is basically chasing a lead. It's just a rumor that possibly that Jacen Solo is alive. And when Ganner finally finds Jacen, it's quite his surprise. And things don't really go as well as Ganner thought that they might. And his rescue attempt turns into something completely different. Jacen Solo and Ganner Rhysode are basically put in a situation where their lives are not going to be around for much longer. So they have a choice. They can either just die, or they can choose what they die for. And this is exactly what happens, and it's just so good. What happens from here is very impressive, because basically Ganner Rhysode has a standoff with thousands of Yuuzhan Vong. He's protecting this archway, the entrance, because beyond it is Jacen and his plans of sabotaging the World Brain. Now, I know I didn't really explain the World Brain, but the World Brain is kind of what controls the world here. They're gonna need it for everything to kind of go as planned. So by sabotaging the World Brain, you're possibly changing the way of life for the Yuuzhan Vong. So it's a key point of sabotage in this war. Ugh. Back to Ganner Rhysode. So Ganner Rhysode is protecting this archway from the Vong so Jacen Solo can complete his side of the mission. But Ganner Rhysode is just so on point in this. Before we get to the point where Ganner is protecting the archway, leading up to it, we're experiencing all his emotions and his thoughts. And Ganner Rhysode is definitely at his weakest. Before he finds his newfound strength, man, he's filled with fear, filled with self-doubt. He's hating on himself. He's like, his knees buckle and he wants to puke on his own shirt. It's a lot for him to take in. But then he finds his center, you know what I mean? He basically fills himself with the Force, and he gets out there and he goes to work, and it's so awesome, dude. Like, within these pages is some of the funnest stuff to read in a Star Wars book. It talks about how Ganner Rhysode makes a fortress of the dead. So basically, these Yuuzhan Vong warriors, which are extremely hard to kill, he's killing them in mass amounts that the bodies are stacking up, and he actually has like a fortress to help guard him while he kills off some more. This really just keeps continuing, and Ganner he's one with the Force, both light and dark, and he is a storm, man, and the Yuuzhan Vong don't even know what to do. This is like the most impressive thing to me throughout the series because of just how hard it was to fight these Yuuzhan Vong, and now Ganner is he's just treating them like rag dolls, throwing them everywhere. But there's a good excuse, like I said, not very many Jedi get to have that chance where they become one with the Force, but when they do, great things happen, and this was no exception. Surely, without the efforts of Ganner Rhysode, Jacen Solo would not have been able to complete his mission, and things would have been a lot different. Like I said, by sabotaging the World Brain, basically Ganner and Jacen changed the way of life for the Yuuzhan Vong there on their new homeworld, which changes the whole game. It's a very pivotal point in this series, and it's just, I don't know, man, something about sacrifice. I love when Jedis become martyrs. There's something about it that just like hits that spot here, and not the dark heart of me, like the part that loves heroes. Like, there's something about someone sacrificing themselves for that greater good that just hits home in the right way. And Ganner Rhysode, his sacrifice is one that I would love to just scream about. Okay, so this is where it's gonna get a little bit ranty. Because I want to say I didn't hate the new trilogy of Star Wars movies, but I was super let down because what they did was they decanonized dozens and dozens of books. They destroyed so much source material that was amazing, and then they gave us that. So it's like, I don't hate them, but what they gave us is nowhere near as good as what they took away from us. And it just sucks. It sucks because it's two different things, like two different entities that I love. I love the Star Wars and I love Disney, but fuck, guys, you really don't work that well together, do you? I know, I'm sorry, guys, like this is really going to come out like that, but I think this is my version of therapy, so just buckle in, right? Because here's the deal, like no way, shape or form could you ever convince me that Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, which I actually liked Kylo Ren, but he's not worth a Jason, Jaina, and Anakin Solo. That's 3 kids you got rid of for 1. Like, what the fuck? Not only that, the new Jedi Order series brought us a new bad guy, new villains, new enemies. The new Star Wars trilogy brought back the same bad guy that we've been fighting for 6 fucking movies. What's the point? See? Told you I was gonna go. So, all in all, guys, what I want to say is, you know, Star Wars is a beautiful thing, and I don't own it, so they shouldn't make movies just to please me. But I think it's crazy, and this is one of those weird situations, right? Because how often is it that the movie is the true source of the material? Because almost, you know, I would say fucking 9.5 times out of 10, it's almost always the books. The books are the source materials, and the movies are the adaptions. So it's just nuts to me that because of a movie change, all the literature changes. That's just nuts to me. So many authors put their blood, sweat, and tears into the extended universe, and Disney just kind of went, all over their hard work for 3 movies. They aren't that great. They're okay, but they're not that great. And realistically, the fact that they passed up on something like having a character arc like Ganner Rhysode's, which is through and through the Jedi way, man. This is such a Jedi story, and nobody's ever going to know about it. Nobody. I would really, you know, I don't know. I'm not even going to recommend reading the books. Maybe just go check out Wikipedia, because you can learn a lot about Star Wars characters from that. But I would definitely check out characters like Ganner Rhysode or other Jedis from the new Jedi Order, because they were a lot of fun, guys. Certainly I had way much more fun reading about them than I did watching the new Star Wars movies. So, yeah, I mean, if you're interested in reading about kick-ass Jedis, the new Jedi Order series got them through and through. It was a great series. I just wish that Disney would have used it as source material to bring us something that we already loved versus gambling on something that was new. I just don't think it worked that well, and I do believe that it further divided the fandom. Star Wars used to be like a community where we came together and just talked about the stuff we loved so much, and now it's really like a community where we come together and try to slit each other's throats. It sucks, and I kind of do blame a little bit of that on the new movies. So this is what it is. Okay, guys, so I gotta wrap this up. My camera's about to die, and I'm really crunched on time. So I hope that this video was not a complete shit show or a waste of your time. If it was, I'm sorry, and feel free to blast me in the comments. Thanks for spending some time down here at the channel, guys. If you're new, please like and subscribe. And as always, peace.